The chime of the bell beckons us into a sacred time. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, where we widen love's circle by honoring the inherent worth and dignity of all. We extend a heartfelt and inclusive invitation for you to join us in meaningful worship and in service to the world. Buenos días y bienvenidos a esta comunidad donde ampliamos el círculo del amor, honrando el valor y la dignidad inherentes de todos. We greet all those who join us this morning and hope those watching the live stream will fill out the online attendance form and refer to the many announcements in the online order of service. We ask those here in person to take a moment to check in by scanning the QR code on the front of your order of service. Then, after the service, seek out and introduce yourself to someone you don't yet know. We have visitors every Sunday, and we know that you will make them feel welcome, those of you who are congregants and members here. Now, we're going to move to our opening hymn, and this morning it's going to be a call and response song. The only thing that's a little different is the last line. Otherwise, you'll just repeat what I say. So repeat this after me. That's how, the light, that's how the light gets in. That's how the light, that's how the light gets in. Now that's the only part that I say a little differently than you do. But I have some help for you in the congregation, in the pews. You'll find out. Please rise in body or spirit, and let's get ready to sing. Forget your perfect offering. Ring the bells that you can ring. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light, that's how the light. Forget your perfect offering. Ring the bells that you can ring. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Forget your perfect offering. Ring the bells that you can ring. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. Forget your perfect offering. Ring the bells that you can ring. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in.
Forget your perfect offering, just ring the bells that you can ring. Come, each of you now, come into this place. Come, you with your joy and your grief, you with unmet needs and you with much to give. Come, you who harbor darkness, and you who shine like the sun. Lean in now to the extraordinary and unlikely beauty of this moment. Out of ordinary life, we arrive today to accept love's invitation, and our coming together makes this space sacred. Come, let us worship.
Celebremos compartiendo nuestras vidas, encendiendo esta luz.
Join me, please, as we say our congregational covenant. It's in your order of service if you don't know it by heart yet. Love is the spirit of our congregation. Service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to encourage one another. Thus do we covenant.
Good morning. I'm here to do the time for all ages this week, so if I could have the children come up and sit with me, oh, and Dr. Rock too, and sit over here with me on this blue rug. We are actually going to do some music too, so I'm so glad that we have our minister, Nina, and Dr. Rock with us too. You can come up too, Mom. Yeah? Yeah, come on up. We're just going to sing a song. It's going to be Soup's Easy. And I invite those of you who are at home to tune in as well. Oh my gosh, those are just the cutest outfits. Yeah, come sit on this rug with us. So today, what the grown-ups are going to be talking about, and what I thought we could talk about too, is how to calm ourselves. So whenever we get stressed or whenever things are going wrong, sometimes we have a tendency to go and tense up, just like that. But it's really better for our bodies and our minds if we relax. So we are actually also going to do a call and response song, a me sing, then you sing. And everybody can participate in this. So we are going to try our very best. Everybody take a deep breath in and out. And I want you to repeat after me. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry. The weight of the world. In your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Very nice. One thing I forgot to mention is sometimes it feels good to put your hand on your heart. Can you try that? Put your hand on your heart and go, You hear that bumbling in your chest? Kind of like there's bees in there. So let's try that now with our hand on our heart. And if you don't remember all the words, it's okay. We're going to forget our perfect offering, right? All right, let's start together. Close your eyes, hand on your heart. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. One more time. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Wonderful. That felt so nice. Thank you all so much for singing with us. And we are going to meet right there at the exit, and we are going to do some planting today. I'll meet you back there.
How special to do some planting with Kinsey and our other educators. And so as you make your way out today, our weekly reminder that we love you so much and you are important to our future and our present today. I invite the congregation to join me in singing the children out using the words in your order of service. Beloveds, now is the time of the service that we can really settle our bodies and our spirits into this space. Feel yourself fully arrive. Feel the chair holding your body fully relaxed, fully present. Notice now where in your body you may be holding tension, if it's your brow or your shoulders or your jaw, and let that go. Allow your breaths to move in and out naturally and make them as deep as they need to be right now. And as you notice the natural rise and fall of your body, extend gratitude and grace to where you are right now. Breathing in, I bring my body peace. Breathing out, I bring my body peace. Breathing in, I bring my body harmony. Breathing out, I bring my body harmony. Breathing in, I bring my body compassion. Breathing out, I bring my body compassion. Breathing in, I bring my body ease. Breathing out, I bring my body ease. Breathing in, I extend my body gratitude. Breathing out, I extend my body gratitude. In all the busyness of our days, our breath grounds us and reminds us that we are a part of the larger heartbeat of the world. Quiet friend who has come so far, feel how your breathing makes more space around you. Let this darkness be a bell tower, and you the bell. As you ring, what batters you becomes your strength. Move back and forth into the change. What is it like, such intensity of pain? If the drink is bitter, turn yourself to wine. In this uncontainable night, be the mystery at the crossroads of your senses. Find the meaning discovered there. And if the world has ceased to hear you, say to the silent earth, I flow. To the rushing water, speak, I am. We pause together at this time every week to lift up that which sits heavy and light on our hearts. We continue to hold Penny Serling with tender care as she grieves the passing of her husband and our beloved community member, Jeff Scarda, whose memorial service is being planned for January 17th, 2026. We also continue holding Valerie and Friday Alessi with tender care as they grieve the passing of Remington Alessi, their beloved husband and father, and our beloved community member. We send healing thoughts and wishes to Francie Johnson and Steve Colvin as they navigate Francie's recent health concerns. And we send healing thoughts to Pandora Johnson, who has served our daycare program for many years. Mi Sheberach is a prayer in the Jewish tradition for the healing of those whose names are called out by congregants. There are similar practices in the African, pagan, and indigenous traditions, and we honor these rituals by saying aloud or bringing to mind those who we wish to be held by the loving embrace of this religious community. They are a part of the great cloud of witness and memory, and we will, even if we do not know their names, hold them in the tenderness of our hearts. along with all that is spoken aloud, let us remember the suffering and joy amid our community that we don't know, and that which is kept in the silence of our hearts. We pause together in awe and wonder of the beauty, diversity, and mystery that is life. In the spirit of love, in the spirit of hope, and in the spirit of compassion, I invite each of you to enter into a time of silent prayer, meditation, or reflection.
In the quiet of this place, let this moment fill with grace. This is my prayer. This is my prayer. May the sense of mystery guide us through our journey. This is my prayer. This is my prayer. This is my prayer.
Each week, our morning offering is shared with an organization that shares our Unitarian Universalist values and through which we may live out our principles in the world. This week, we are donating to refurbish affordable housing in Freedmanstown. Our community projects team has been instrumental in preserving and rejuvenating the buildings of the historic Freedmanstown museums in Houston. They now lend their talents to a sister project, refurbishing much-needed affordable housing near the museum. We now invite John Finley, a member of the board of the Freedmanstown Group, to join us in the pulpit and tell us more about this effort.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's a pleasure for me to be here, and I really can't thank Phil and the rest of the guys, Warren, and I'm sorry if I can't think everybody's name, but I see one of the carpenters sitting back there, and these guys have done some excellent work. They've been a godsend to our community, and it's good to have people that's helping you that's perfectionists, because the work is just A1. And the spirit is A1. And like I said, I can't thank the church and the guys enough, because, we really need affordable houses, there. And for years, our neighborhood has really been on the decline. And when Phil and Warren, showed up to help us, our prayers were answered. And like I said, I can't convey my heartfelt thanks enough. And we hope, that this will be a lasting partnership, with the church. And Phil and the guys, not only have they been, mentors to me, I think, that they'll be lifelong friends after this project is over, because we're not going to let them go. And, and they are some wonderful people. I've passed by this church, for years and never really knew that it, existed. But I want to say once again, can't thank you enough, and glad for the partnership. And I may come over to the, to the services sometime. I'm Catholic, but I visit all churches. Yeah, but thank you very much.
Those in our sanctuary will find the instructions for text giving in our order of service next to the name of the shared offering recipient, Freedmanstown. And those watching the live stream will see the instructions on your screen. Our regular Sunday morning offering collection invites us to read a tapestry of love and action. We ask you to give generously. An offering will now be gratefully received.
Dedicating your generous offering using the words that are in the order of service. To the work of this church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives, and these are offerings.
Today's reading is called Welcome, Traveler by Bayo akomolafe. I am quite confident that even as the oceans boil and the hurricanes beat violently against our once safe shores, and the air sweats with the heat of impending doom, and our fists protest the denial of climate justice, that there is a path to take that has nothing to do with victory or defeat, a place we do not yet know the coordinates to, a question we do not yet know how to ask.
The point of the departed arrow is not merely to pierce the bullseye and carry the trophy. The point of the arrow is to sing the wind and remake the world in the brevity of flight. There are things we must do, sayings we must say, thoughts we must think that look nothing like the images of success that have so thoroughly possessed our visions of justice.
May this new decade be remembered as the decade of the strange path, of the third way, of the broken binary, the post-human movement for emancipation, the gift of disorientation that opens up new places of power. May this decade bring more than just solutions, more than just a future. May it bring words we don't know yet, and temporalities we have not yet inhabited.
May we be slower than speed could calculate, and swifter than the pull of the gravity of words can incarcerate. And may we be visited so thoroughly and met in wild places so overwhelmingly that we are left undone.
Ready for composting.
Ready for the impossible.
Welcome to the decade of the fugitive. Here ends the reading. And now I invite you to open your teal hymnals to number 1009, Meditation on Breathing. When you have it, please rise in body or spirit as we lift our voices together in song.
The title of today's sermon is inspired by my experience at the annual symposium hosted by the seminary that I attend, Star King School for the Ministry. Bearing grief, breathing liberation was the theme of our time together in the summer of 2023. And I find myself continuing to return to this phrase season after season as my grief for our aching world mounts. Bearing grief, breathing liberation. In the words of the poet Mark Nepo, everything is beautiful and I am so sad. How do we stay close to our lives' work of liberation while bearing such ever-mounting grief. The author of today's only reading is Bayo Akomolafe, who I consider one of my teachers and a prophet for our times. Born in Nigeria, he was raised with both Christian and Yoruban traditions, and I love his work because he stretches me beyond my familiar frameworks. Bayo is a philosopher and an activist. He's a writer and a father and a partner, and he founded something called the Emergence Network, which connects artists and activists seeking new responses to old problems. And that's the part that interests and energizes me so much. The idea of responding to that which ails us in new ways. When Bayo refers to the decade of the fugitive, he's not referring to some grainy CCTV footage of someone trying to get away with something, or a Harrison Ford Hollywood character. He's referring to someone who's being chased and who's seeking sanctuary. In this metaphor that he uses, the fugitive is constantly moving through spaces where they've lost their way, unconcerned if they still fit in with the community that they've left, seeking new ways of being and new places of living that better suit their needs. In the reading, Bayo says, the relentless curdling of the edges, the splashes of threatening ocean waves, the dimming of the sun by the dust in the air, the disappearance of bees, all conspire to remove the post-Ice Age refuge we have long known as home. The ground has withdrawn her endorsement. We are no longer at ease. The ground has withdrawn her endorsement. We are no longer at ease. We are no longer in good relationship with this land that has held us for so long. To me, to move like a fugitive in these strange and changeful times requires a combination of desperation and curiosity. And I wonder about you who are committed to justice and freedom. Do you ever feel desperate about finding a path to our shared future? Do you feel curious about the brave new ways that we could learn to be together that would make for a better and kinder future? The first time that I ever preached about climate grief was at my home church, the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Las Vegas. It was at the end of the summer that wildfires burned down the town of Lahaina on the island of Maui. And through readings and prayer, through silence and singing, we as a community really felt our way into the depth of that grief. And at the end of the service, my good friend Rory walked a gaggle of crying children up to me and said, "Hey, you did this, and now you have to help us get out of it." I learned an important lesson that day. I had done a good job opening the grief box, and then I left everyone in the room in that sticky and exposed place. I think we can wade into the grief, even when we know it's deeper and older than all of us combined, but we can't stay there or we'll be swept away. We can't abandon each other in our grief. Inhaling all this shared grief, exhaling and remembering we are creative and resilient, that we belong to each other. Bio also says, may this decade bring more than just solutions, more than just a future. May it bring words we don't know yet. The term Anthropocene, first coined in the 1980s by biologist Eugene Stormer, is often used to describe our current era. It characterizes this age as the one in which human activity has inflicted profound change, including global warming, mass extinction, widespread pollution, all which leave a distinct mark in the geological record. Anthropocene. New behaviors need new words. About 20 years later, philosopher Glenn Albrecht coined the term solastalgia, which combines the Latin root for solace with the Greek root for pain. This new word, solastalgia, describes a form of emotional or existential distress caused by environment change. This is the experience of the homesickness that you have when you are still home, and it's changing in ways that are breaking your heart. It is the loss of identity and homeland and community. It's mourning the stories we were told about how it would be. In this era of unfinished, cyclical mourning, we risk losing the ability to create true narratives of love. This is solastalgia. New emotions need new words. We're making new words to describe where we are and what we've done and how we feel. And just like we can create new words, we can create new ways of being. Bearing grief, inhaling the pain of a world that is homesick for home, breathing liberation, exhaling and feeling interdependence and connection to other forms of life. Just like we are grounded by our low, slow, steady, and deep breathing, our theologies and our rituals, our ways of living every single day help us remember truths that are important in these melancholic times. Some people might call the exercise of tending to our chronic grief with the energy of creation hope. But it's not about hoping that the systems that brought us here will save us, because they have already abandoned us. But the spring of hope runs deep for finding new, innovative ways that we can walk forward together, hoping for new leaders with bright, curious minds who understand that our bodies belong to this earth, hoping to find and foster communities that understand that what happens to the body of the earth happens to our bodies, hoping for and working toward the shared realization that with each species lost, there is less of all of us and less of each of us. My prayer of hope is a spell of releasing our attachment to the status quo. It's a blessing for the place within us that speaks in cleverness and embraces the chaos of change. On Friday afternoon, I spent some time at the home of First UU member Nancy Edwards and her husband, Bob Randall. Both Nancy and Bob have backgrounds in anthropology, and many decades ago were introduced to the idea of permaculture, a type of sustainability engineering. Permaculture is another new word created to explain an idea that is both indigenous and new in comparison to our industrialized practices. It is the work of creating sustainable human habitats by mimicking natural ecosystems. As I chewed on a piece of raw okra that we snapped off a nearby plant, Bob explained to me how the two large reservoirs on the southeast side of their home serve multiple purposes: to collect rainwater, to provide protection against hurricane-strength winds, to provide radiant warmth in the wintertime to protect the Meyer lemon tree nearby. And should there be so much rainfall that there's an overflow more than the cisterns can capture, the runoff water is diverted down a path that grows swamp milkweed, a critical food source for monarch butterflies. In Nancy's words, permaculture is planning how to get your air, water, food, shelter, power, transportation, and community at the local level. This means without waiting for or pleading to or electing the right people so the government will save us, which they show no signs of doing. Now, I don't know how Nancy and Bob would feel about being called fugitives, but I think the metaphor serves. Finding new ways of interdependence and shared care out of what some would call no way. Thinking thoughts and taking actions that are so unfamiliar to many of these old structures and systems that we are told we are beholden to. This is the kind of creative, changey solution seeking that makes possible a new way, that brings us back to each other, that nurtures the interdependent web of all existence. Inhaling the grief that so many people with power don't love our shared future enough to make decisions that protect it for generations to come. Exhaling, knowing that our commitment to interdependence connects us to ancient practices of regeneration, kindness, and belonging. It is an act of love to remember that the antidote to so many of our shared pains is connection. And by living with a sense of our own wholeness, we draw nearer to the wholeness of all beings. We are not separate from one another, despite what these shared and existential fears may tell us. In knowing our individual and shared wholeness and completeness, we can focus on living in peace and harmony and being good stewards of all that which has temporarily been entrusted to us. Bio, again, says we need trickster approaches. We need ways of dancing away or dancing to these fugitive spaces, dancing to sanctuaries where we can practice shape-shifting, grieving, mourning, and even participating in things that bring us pleasure in the face of this storm. Bearing grief, inhaling the pain of the world, breathing liberation, exhaling and feeling deeper interdependence with and connection to all forms of life. This is choosing to breathe in ways that keep you connected to your body and to the body of the world. As we sang with the children today, and as I sang to my little niece when she was tiny enough to be in the crook of my arm, Allie Halpert's words once again. Loosen, loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones, and in fact, you cannot. Trauma specialist Resma Menachem says that if we don't metabolize our grief, it will metastasize. It is through our rituals of return to ourselves and each other that we heal. So I wonder, once again, and for the final time today, about you. What new words are flowing from you? What new rituals, new communities, new covenants, new life is ready to be born? To breathe renewal into this time of collapse and suffering. And if this sermon feels like it's full of questions, it's because it is. May we approach the uncertain future with an insatiable curiosity about what each of us, about what all of us are capable of. We must abandon the solutions that keep us trapped in these cycles of sameness. We must give up fearing for end times and learn to live in the meantime, in this middle place, full of confusion and grief, and make do with partial answers to our biggest questions. The scar of modernity afflicts us all, but in the Sierra Nevada mountains, that will always feel like home to me. It's the middle of that burn scar where the bright green aspens come to grow. Life and death are everywhere, all the time, simultaneously. We must greet our grief with more than empathy and tenderness. We must greet it with as much cleverness as we can muster, as much creativity and willingness to change as exists within our souls. May the structures that keep us apart from each other and our world collapse. May the embrace of our shared grief nurture a verdant path to a shared future. And may your love and your life always bless this world.
Now I invite you to open your teal hymnals once again to number 1064, Blue Boat Home. Please rise in body or in spirit as we lift our voices together in song.
Oh
The words for the extinguishing of our chalice are in your order of service. Please join me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Quiet friend who has come so far, feel how your breathing makes space around you. As we break this sacred space, may the abundance and care that we fostered here spill out into our wider world. May the week to come find you in places new and curious. May you carry softly the pressures of this world and remain open to the mystery of all to come. Go in peace and power.